Welcome to Lamestorming, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Trevor Scott, and with me as always is Ben Slinger.
G'day. And our guest this week is Andrew Natoli from the Inconsolables podcast. Now, do you like to really hit that pun, like Inconsolables, or how do you generally?
I just call it Inconsolables. I overcommitted to the pun early and then realised that people weren't finding us because of the spelling. So that was good.
So did you actually have to change the spelling of your podcast? Did you have the E in there?
Yeah. I had the E in there and I had dashes as well on the very first ones. So I just kind of made it a bit more easy to type and Googleable and,
a bit more SEO friendly.
Yeah, pretty much. And if you don't if you don't see the pun, then you don't see the pun and deal with it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for
thanks
for joining us this week. Good to have you on.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, let's just tell us. You can tell us a little bit about the podcast before we get into things.
Yeah, generally it's just we started as my mate Paul and I just talking about games all the time. This is the thing we do, so it's like, well, why not record it and pop it online? So we did. We just kind of take the news that interests us most and then talk about a bunch of games that we played as well. So we always ramble and go on way too long though.
Pretty much sounds like how we started. So, all right. Well, let's go right into it. We're going to play Click Pitch. For those who haven't listened before, Click Pitch is a game where we take a random word generator. We each hit refresh, get a new random word, and based on those words, we try to come up with a game idea. Hopefully funny or amusing or interesting to listen to the process, at least. So, Trevor, do you want to do the honors?
Yes. 3, 2, 1, click.
Potter.
Louse.
Or should I say Potter?
Fiddler.
Potter.
This is an interesting one.
And Louse. I feel like this is like Harry Potter fan fiction, and Fiddler and Louse are like his two new mates in his group. Fiddler's a Ravenclaw, and Louse, I don't know. Is he a scruffy Gryffindor or is he a Hufflepuff?
That sounds Slytherin, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I think Hufflepuff.
He's like Pigpen from
I guess.
from Peanuts. Like they call him Louse because he never showers and he's always losing his wand.
Bit grubby. So it's like the new Neville Longbottom, but a bit more. Gruff.
Even more kind of. I don't know. It's like the lost years of Harry Potter. It's that one summer that Ron and Hermione went home for like the holidays, and Harry Potter was left in Hogwarts, and so he just had to like find a new gang, and it was Fiddler and Louse. He just came across them in a corner.
But the reason why J.K. didn't write about it is because there was like only mischief that they got up to, and like she didn't want to see. Oh, she didn't want everyone to find out about, all the bad shit that they.
This is
Fiddler
the year that
and
Harry
Louse
Potter
and
discovered
Harry Potter got up to.
masturbation. Like you can't write about that. And man, you've got magic. Like,
see, oh god, I feel like with a name like Louse, he's like not even really a wizard. He just punches things until magic happens.
He punches things until magic happens. I like that. I was going to say he's a squib that's managed to sneak his way in. But yeah, I like that he punches things till magic happens. That's actually because we're trying to come up with a game here, not just a book. So I like that this is like a spin-off game based in that off year of Hogwarts that wasn't covered in the books.
I'm wondering if it's something like Bully.
Yeah, you could do a really cool, basically Hogwarts themed Bully. So is it Harry Potter at all?
I just think it's in the world of Harry Potter and happens to be the 7th year at Hogwarts while Harry Potter's off, so he doesn't come into the story whatsoever. And it's just Fiddler and Louse causing trouble all the way through Hogwarts. Like obviously Louse punching people until magic happens.
We got to get that in the description of the podcast, if not the title. Punch people until magic happens.
or punch people until they thought magic happened.
Until they thought, that's it. Maybe that's the secret. That he punches them until they pass out, and then he just tells them that magic happened.
Yeah.
Experience the magic.
Experience the magic. Literally.
The wizarding world of Louse and experience concussions. That's it. That's it. There is no magic at all in that world. It's just Louse punched everyone and everyone's got concussions and think there's magic.
It's all just a dream world of everyone that Louse has punched.
Yeah.
Well, let's go with this a bit further. I like this idea. So it's a bully style game, so kind of open world Hogwarts, which is but in itself is pretty fucking awesome. Like the Lego games are probably the ones that explored Hogwarts the most. I mean, there were some other Harry Potter games, but they weren't as good. But yeah, like
I do remember playing a different one that was entirely about kind of searching the school, and then you'd unlock more parts as you did things. It was like based on the first movie, I think.
Yeah, there was some
a long time ago.
There was definitely some games based on the first few movies, but I don't. I mean, they were okay. They were mostly sort of fetch questy kind of.
Oh yeah.
You know, you had to collect all the Birdie Bots beans and.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, like something a bit more serious where you literally do have this open Hogwarts, and yeah, you've got all the secrets you can find, and you obviously some bits will be blocked off to start with as the story goes along, but mostly it's just open, and you've got your little very Rockstar-esque letters on your map that are going to trigger your story missions and stuff. But in the meantime, you can just.
However, what you have to get rid of is the one thing I didn't like about Bully is the class system. Like you have to actually, during certain times of the day, you have to get back in to go to class and all that sort of stuff. So
I kind of like the idea of it, but because it is a school and like that obviously adds that aspect to it. But you could probably make it a bit more lenient.
Does Louse really sound like someone who'd go to class?
Yeah, Louse can get away with a lot more. Fiddler's a Ravenclaw, so like he likes his studies.
Yeah, I guess. I was going to say, maybe Louse thinks he's punching things until magic happens, and in the background it's actually Fiddler who's doing the actual magic. and so you've got to play as Fiddler kind of escorting Louse and just casting the spells to kind of have whatever effect he thinks he's trying to do. Oh god,
we better have some good companion AI.
Oh, no. This is cooperative multiplayer.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cooperative multiplayer. So, but the one thing is, the person who plays, you have to actually purchase each set. So you can't like buy one copy and be able to play as both Fiddler and Louse. You got to either buy the Louse version or the Fiddler version. The reason being is the Fiddler copy comes with special instructions telling you not to let Louse know that you're doing all the magic.
Okay,
yes,
that's awesome.
and then the last one has like, "You are the hero."
Yeah, exactly. The last
Except it's written like caveman writing.
You have the power to punch people until magic happens, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
And if someone tries to tell you otherwise, punch them until magic happens.
Exactly. I love that idea of not only asynchronous. Well, it's asynchronous co-op, which is a lot less common, I think. Well, I mean, I guess it's just sort of different skills, but yeah, the very idea that you actually have to keep certain aspects of the game a secret from the person you're going to play with.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like this would have worked a lot better in the days before the internet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you know that people aren't going to want to ruin this because, like, the people playing the Fiddler version are just going to be like sniggering that the people playing the Louse version think that they're actually, doing really good with their magic and all that
leveled
sort of
up.
stuff.
Good on you. Now you can cast this higher level spell that creates a giant phoenix of flame and destroys your enemies when you punch them.
Maybe the game spies on you so that if you are a Fiddler player and you tell a Louse player what's actually going on, you're suddenly a Louse player.
Oh wait, so it's like it pairs you up with another Fiddler player, so you just get kicked out of your game. It's like, nope, you're Louse now.
Or even better, there's like a secret third version. So you're Fiddler, but suddenly you lose all your powers, and then you've got Potter doing Fiddler's magic for him. And so you've just got this chain.
Maybe this is set later on, and Harry Potter's actually a teacher at the school. I know that's not canon. He became.
There you go.
Oh, even better. It turns out that there's actually a third version out there that no one knew about, and Potter's literally under like an invisibility cloak the entire time. So
yes.
Fiddler is
it's the ultimate stealth game.
Potter is actually doing the magic for Fiddler and Louse.
So wait, I'm trying to figure out how this works mechanically because Are we going to have like some really good matchmaking to make sure not only does every louse have a fiddler, but every fiddler has a Potter who's actually playing the game, and the other people are just running around aimlessly.
Well, Potter could just be a very smart AI.
Well, maybe. I'm thinking maybe the fiddlers that are being controlled by a Potter are just kind of like... You know those games where kind of, if you're cheating, it throws you into a different queue where only cheaters play each other?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
yep.
maybe it's one where fiddlers get thrown into this one where it looks like they're fiddler, but you have just another fiddler playing for them. And so you're both connected... You're both connected with a louse, but the fiddler who's been behaving is the one who's actually working, and the other one's just like, why is nothing happening?
So it's basically
mode.
it's basically the online game equivalent of when you give your kid the controller that's not plugged in.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, no, you've been naughty. You're now in gamer purgatory.
Yeah, but you don't even know. You have to figure it out for yourself. Like when the spells that you cast don't quite line up with what you actually pressed.
Yeah,
and your louse doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, click.
All right.
Parakeet.
Springtime.
Coldness.
Okay, well, they seem mildly at odds with each other.
Yeah, but I think what you can do is bring, like, so it's a sort of a seasonal game. You bring the seasons into it.
Yeah.
So obviously a parakeet is involved. Perhaps you play a parakeet trying to survive through the winter to get to the springtime.
Perhaps you play a parakeet migrating away from the winter.
Oh, there you go.
And all the trials and tribulations it goes through to reach wherever its springtime destination is.
Maybe you play a caged parakeet and all you have to do is eat the food that your really good owners give you to survive the winter because you don't even notice. No, maybe let's go back to the one that actually has some gameplay.
And then dream of springtime.
So we're migrating south for the winter if it's in the northern hemisphere, and migrating north for the winter if it's in the southern hemisphere.
Sure.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea.
I'm not sure parakeets migrate, but we'll pretend they do.
Oh, why not?
We'll pretend that they do.
Maybe this is a parakeet who wants to be like a goose, or I don't know what migrates. I don't even know.
I don't know my birds well enough.
No.
A bird of some kind that migrates. The migrato bird.
The migrator bird.
So, well, I guess there's a title.
Yeah, migrator bird.
Migrato keet.
Okay, so does this parakeet have, like, I don't know, an injury or something like this? So it's trying to migrate, but it's got a broken wing.
Well, I think that happens along the way. Like that's part of the narrative.
Well, that's how the game gets harder, right?
Well, yeah. It depends on how we want to go. If we want this to be sort of a narrative based thing where there is a sort of a set path through it, and you've got your emotional ups and downs, then yeah, along the way, a hunter shoots at you and clips your wing, and then you've got that challenge for the next little bit of getting to your next, getting through the next leg of your journey,
like,
while
who
veering
hunts
off
parakeets?
course and running into other birds. I don't know.
Okay, so it's like a Telltale adventure, except you're a bunch of parakeets and you've got like the typical
The
sort of
albatross will remember
episode.
that.
So yes, exactly. So the first episode is just the flying, and then a few little random things happen along the way, like one of your members gets taken out by like a jungle cat or something like that.
Oh, okay. So you're not a lone parakeet. You start off at least in a group.
No, you're in a group, and so therefore it's kind of like The Walking Dead. You know how you're in that group, and you can talk to the different people within, make relationships, do all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But at the end of the first episode is where your wing gets clipped.
Okay, and it's like the cliffhanger going into episode 2.
2, and then episode 3, episode 4, episode 5.
Yeah, I like that. I'm sort of picturing like an animated feature. Like this could be an animated, like, it's about time Telltale moved away from just doing licensed properties, right? Like it's an original story. It's this group of parakeets, but like they're all quirky characters, and it's in that style of like a DreamWorks, animated kids movie sort of thing.
Parakeet story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so that could actually work really well in a Telltale adventure sort of thing, because you've got those strong characters, and there's probably they're all different stereotypes, and you've got your token girl, and
you've got your stereotypical gung ho parakeet that wants to dive bomb the hunter that shot at you, and
yeah, that's it, right? He thinks he's a magpie.
Yeah, maybe it is a flock of just mismatched birds that cast out from the regular flock that have all banded together to get there safely.
Yeah.
So you do have an actual magpie.
You've got an actual magpie, but they're not very good at it, so they aspire to be way better at swooping and attacking people.
Yeah, yeah.
I
so
like
you
that
got
idea, like a
magpie
motley
in training.
crew
Like a
of
pelican or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, a pelican that thinks there's an eagle or something ridiculous like that.
All right, I think we should click again.
Yeah, I think so. 3, 2, 1, click. Ingratitude.
Articulation.
Waste, as in part of your body waste.
All right. Well, articulation, I think of some sort of mechanical being with different points of articulation, or maybe an action figure.
Well, action figures have wastes, I guess.
Well, that's it. Yeah, maybe it's you have an articulated waist, so you can sway your hips as an action figure.
Maybe it's like one of those mechs that kind of you can turn at the waist to look in a different direction. Shoot. So
okay.
we've got a mech game, perhaps.
And you're not very grateful. Well, so
Well, then.
Trevor and I have kids, so we know about ingratitude. Maybe you're a baby mech. Maybe you're a toddler mech, and the daddy and mummy mech, or maybe we won't gender them just to be inclusive.
The daddy and daddy mech.
Yeah, the parent mechs have to control this baby mech, this toddler mech, he's a three-nager and just getting into trouble and not really listening to the orders for whom it should kill or when it should fire its rockets.
Rather than the player being able to play the baby, I think they should have to play the parent.
No, yeah, they're playing the parents, definitely. Yeah.
Because it made it sound like your character was... Because you said you play a baby mech, and I was like, ooh. No, you should play a parent mech.
No. I think you play, a parent mech, and maybe it's cooperative. Maybe it's massively multiplayer, and you're all trying to...
You're all trying to influence this mech. It's like an extended family.
Yeah.
I'll play as Grandpa Mech then.
Yeah, that's it. It's an extended family. Yeah, you get to choose. I'm long lost second cousin Mech, and my name's Mike Mech.
Mike Mech.
So, all right. So maybe the parents are human, but the toddler's still a mech. So maybe it's the challenge of raising a mech
the
in a
parents
human
are
world.
the engineers who built it and have given artificial intelligence to this mech, and it's just so ungrateful.
Yeah.
So you're trying to perhaps teach this AI how to live and learn and all of this. It's a learning AI.
It's like, no, don't fire rockets at your sister.
Yeah, and it's just
and the sister's a human being.
yeah,
the
exactly.
sister's a human being. Definitely.
Yeah, because
it was a pair of parents. It was parents who discovered they couldn't conceive, built a mech, and then finally did manage to miraculously conceive an actual child, and so now they've just got this AI mech,
this rampant AI mech
who's not very grateful for being built and doesn't like having a sibling. So
and doesn't like the all the attention taken away. So
exactly, yeah. So luckily,
trying to get attention by killing the.
Luckily, they
sister.
took the warheads out of the rockets. Okay. So maybe what it is they had a lot of forethought. So this mech baby can actually manufacture its own ammunition, but it needs the right materials. So you have to keep it away from anything explosive. And these are obviously inventor parents, so there is going to be just uranium lying around.
And also, baby waste can be pretty damn potent, so you've got to keep the baby away.
There's your biological weaponry.
Yeah, I love that idea of this AI mech baby is just going around trying to track down anything it can use as ammunition. And obviously you got to keep it away from the dangerous stuff, otherwise it will literally kill your child. But it's just creating poo missiles if you can't keep it away.
And then you've got to keep that clean, otherwise your child gets sick.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you have to clean up so it's almost like The Sims, but there's just this fucking mech baby going around, and you have to like clean up after everything and make sure your household is running smoothly so that your mech baby can't find ammunition. And also, you still love them. I mean, you still love your mech baby as parents, of course. And so it's a hard. You have to console it as well, and you have to treat it well. But it's a handful.
Yeah,
it's a hard knock life.
It's a hard knock life. It's a hard mech life for me.
I'm just imagining like maybe cholera bombs or dysentery bombs, that sort of stuff. If it uses waste too often.
You do not declare thermonuclear war on your sister.
There are definitely other lose conditions than your mech child getting control of explosive weaponry. Like, yeah, if you don't keep it clean enough, then your baby will just die from infectious diseases.
Later on in the game, you as parents can determine whether to send the teenager mech off to military academy.
Yes.
Or to art school. And it's just firing paint bombs and things. It's abstract, Mum!
And you just got like a paintball minigame.
Who's it voiced by?
Jaden Smith?
Hell no.
Just got all these. What's his name? Gilbert Gottfried. Yeah, you just got to be like, Mom! It's abstract, Mom! I don't know. Let's come up with another voice. I think we could find someone better to voice it.
You know what?
Mech.
Stephen Fry. Just have this mech be particularly well spoken and articulate about being teenage and angsty.
That works really well. Yeah, I like that.
And his childhood friend has to be Hugh Laurie then.
Yes.
Is his childhood friend another mech baby or
hell
human?
No.
It's a human.
Yeah, human.
We're going off on interesting tangents here because I like that this is sort of becoming a bit more of a narrative game now.
Well, it's a narrative
maybe it's just a sequence of sort of little vignettes as this mech baby grows up, and you've got different challenges in each one, and it sort of tells a bit of a story each time.
Oh yeah,
almost like a walking simulator with mini games everywhere. As much as I hate the term walking simulator, but yeah,
or kind of like the very very start of Fallout 3.
Yeah,
how you play the baby and then you play the toddler, then you play the
but in this case you're playing the parents in each case as this child
is growing up.
Yeah,
grows up, and you have to sort of guide it through, and each thing, each decision you make, and the way that you go in each minigame sort of defines what happens in future ones, and yeah, like where they end up going to college and who they end up marrying or not, and like it literally just takes them all the way through their entire life.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
and in the end, it's
even better. The
mech just looks mech voiced by Stephen Fry over his parents' graves, just like, you raised me well.
And that's how I became Skynet.
yeah, it grows up to become an AI that's literally running the world.
Well, that's if you raise it well, and if you do it poorly, then you end up with GLaDOS.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Skynet's pretty bad too.
Well, yeah, Skynet, GLaDOS, you get both.
Yeah, I do like the idea of either a beneficiary. What's a
benevolent?
Anyway, a good AI. Yeah, benevolent. There you go, benevolent AI, or an evil AI who wants to destroy humanity, based on your parenting choices earlier in the game.
Yes.
I just realised that we also chose the gender for the mech, so you can also choose. It's basically a choice between either Stephen Fry or Helen Mirren as the voice.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Well, and
Because
they can
I
be
reckon
different.
that would
They
work
can be
really,
different.
really well.
There can be different childhood friends as well, and just based on how you play and sort of the way that your mech's life is going.
Yeah, because they're not necessarily going to be.
And one of them definitely has to be Ricky Gervais.
Or does Hugh Laurie just do all the voices?
It's always Hugh Laurie, but Hugh Laurie's got a different personality.
A little girl, The little brother, the little sister. Okay, I think we should click again.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome though.
3, 2, 1, click.
Fertilizer.
Meekness.
Taper.
I mean, so I go towards plants for fertilizer, and like taper works for, you know, a sprout that's come out of the fertilizer sort of thing. That's growing, a sprout growing, it tapers up.
Okay, sure. Meekness.
And it submits to the will of the creator, hence the meekness. You do realize that then becomes evergreen.
Well, I mean, we can diverge from evergreen, I think. All right, let's take it in a different direction. Maybe we'll use taper as someone who tapes, and you're working in a fertilizer packing plant.
Okay.
And you have to be bold to like make your way through, so you can't be too meek. And you're driving as you drive the forklift around, because there's just a lot of forklift traffic, and you'll never get to where you're going. But if you're too bold, then you just all end up covered in shit, literally.
So you've got to like strike a balance between meekness and not so meekness.
Yeah. As you drive around, and also in your taping style, right? Like it depends on how well you tape up these crates or boxes. Because
as to how much damage they can take as you're driving around the forklift.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you take your time, you do a really, really good job, but then
you might not get as many done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to try and get as many done so that more plants get fertilized, so that you have the best garden.
Well, I think
garden.
you just well, okay, maybe that's your sort of like end of day. You go home and you plant your garden, and that's sort of the indicator of how well you've been doing.
Well, you need all the
but I just like the
fertilizer for your
imagery
plants,
of sort
right?
of
You need the fertilizer for your plants, right? So not so much you're working at a fertilizer factory, but you're trying to hoard as much fertilizer as you possibly can, so you can come up with the best garden at home.
Well, that can be another balancing act, perhaps, around, you know, you obviously want to do well at your job and make money, and that's for whatever reason in this factory based on how many crates of fertilizer you tape up and then put on your forklift and put them onto the truck. But at the same time, you can hoard fertilizer in your pants, get it home because you don't want to pay for it. I mean,
but the big problem with doing that is if you collect too much, the FBI starts investigating you because they think that you're a terrorist because you're hoarding all this fertilizer to create bombs.
Well, what sort of fertilizer are we thinking? Because I'm literally just thinking like horse shit.
Yeah, that's pretty much where
it's just manure. Yeah. I mean, maybe you could eventually distill that down to a bomb.
In the vein of Soylent Green, it's what, Soylent Dirt?
Soylent Dirt.
Soylent Dirt is people shit.
No, I think we go simpler with this one. I really like the imagery of a frantic kind of taping and forklift driving game with, you know, the possibility that these crates of horse shit are just going to burst open if you get too much damage. But then literally like that just becomes part of the challenge because you're then having to drive your forklift over mounds of manure. And all these other forklifts are having to sort of make their way through it as well, and it just gets trailed throughout the whole factory.
Well, perhaps you make it multiplayer, so everyone's trying to kind of you've got maybe a time limit, and so you've got all these AI forklifts running around as obstacles, and everyone's trying to get as much fertilizer into their truck as possible. So you can drive.
Well, I
like
don't
a
even know
maniac.
if you need AI. I think this is like a couch competitive game where you're all on one screen in this sort of maze-like fertilizer factory.
Yeah, and then I'm thinking you can lay traps to kind of mess everyone else up.
Yeah, because then you've got weapons and traps and things, like you can really mess with each other.
And I think that the controller has to be a mobile phone because then you got the touchscreen to actually, you know, you got to drag your finger down along the seam for the taping,
so the
and then
taping stuff. Okay.
And then you can use like 2 or 3 fingers on the multi-touch, you know, to smooth down the tape. And
I don't know if it can do this, but maybe it's a multiplayer Switch game. Can you have like multiple Switches networked together?
Yeah, it supports up to 8.
I think so.
So it supports 8
players.
players.
Yeah, that might work and do it because that's got the touchscreen, right? And then you can have some some interesting things.
So you got a
around-
single docked one, and everyone else has to have one in their hand.
Well, or either that, or like it just switches on each person's screen between like the packing minigame stuff, and then you switch back to sort of the overhead view of the whole factory. And so there's a challenge there too, actually, because if you're packing, you can't see what traps and things the other people are setting.
It could just be a game that doesn't support docked mode, because there's a few of those anyway. So you've already got it like in handheld mode. So you got your joysticks for driving your forklift around, and then you've got your touch screen for when you're packing your tape.
Yeah. No, I like
and
that.
it's got 10-point multi-touch, so that's okay. You can smooth down the tape with your palm and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Or you can just tape multiple boxes at once. You got a bunch of different strategies. Tape with two hands.
Multiple choices.
Oh, so this would be awesome. You line up all the boxes and you just tape across, and then you get a knife and just sort of cut in between the boxes.
Yeah, well, that's it. I think I like the idea that you can come up with different taping strategies, and figure out which ones are the most like the fastest versus the most like the strongest that are going to keep the fertilizer in there.
Versus the ones most likely to spill in everyone's way specifically.
Well, that's it. You could purposefully tape one up badly, put that one on top of your forklift, and then just like as you're driving
ram into someone.
Or as you're driving in front of someone, just give your forks a little up and down to knock that one off the top and have it drop off behind you and right into
cover them in
someone
shit.
else's forklift. Yeah.
But if you're really bad at doing that, it just literally lands on top of the forklift and lands all over you.
Oh yeah, you got to do it. It's like a very manual thing. Yeah, you got to give it a good little flip for sure.
Yeah. It's got to be a real technique to it.
So it really needs the awesome physics of like Breath of the Wild, because I know that has some pretty awesome physics.
Oh, well,
I haven't played it, guys. But
yeah, I'm only saying it because I actually did get to play it, so suck
it. I've been playing so much of it.
No, but I think
we don't own a Switch because we're too broke.
Yeah, fair enough.
I've got myself a Wii U now.
Yeah, well, there you go.
No, well, I like the idea of because of and I don't know, Andrew, you're the only one who'll be able to tell us how good this is, but the whole HD rumble could come into play with you like forklift driving and stuff.
I wouldn't know because I didn't get 1-2 Switch, so I haven't been able to try the marble thing. But
that's literally the only game that supports it.
Well, it's got rumble in other games, but like I wouldn't notice the difference between HD rumble
standard,
and
just standard like 360p rumble.
Oh yeah, like I've been hit by a monster in Zelda. It shook a bit. Cool.
It rumbled. So, it shook.
Yeah. So it's like
that sure was a rumble.
Yeah, it didn't feel like 3 ice blocks in a cup sort of rumble.
No,
yeah. Nor should it have because I was hit with a sword.
No, that's just literally that was their big claim to fame. Like you can tell how many ice blocks are in there, but that's actually the only thing they perfected. So every time you get hit by something, it just feels like a different number of ice blocks in a glass.
5. That must be a pretty heavy hit.
I'm gonna have to ask Paul about the ice cube thing.
Okay, I think it's about time to move into the Eye of the Storm.
Yeah. So if you want to find us online, if you somehow came across this podcast in some other way and don't know where you found it, you can just Google us. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. You can email us, podcast@lamestorming.com. And our website is lamestorming.com. So, just give us a search. We'll come up.
We are on iTunes, but we'd love it if you could rate and review us on either iTunes or Facebook. We know how hard iTunes is to rate on, so a rating on Facebook would do wonders for us. Help us get noticed by a few other people.
Definitely. Get our name out there. We would like to thank Kuridust, who provided the track Mount Defiance, which you hear at the beginning, end, and during Eye of the Storm.
We'd also like to thank Zencastr, Zencastr, for providing us the awesome recording capabilities for our guest today. So that's Zencastr.com.
And Andrew, where can our listeners find you if they'd like to chat with you, listen to your podcast? One of those things.
Yeah, that'd be nice. So you can find us Inconsolables on SoundCloud, iTunes, or on Stitcher as well. If you want to find our Facebook, it's Inconsolables Podcast, and on Twitter at InconsolablesAU. Nice and easy.
Awesome. All right, well, let's get back into it.
Sure.
Yes.
Ooh, nice. Rodeo.
Hang on, I didn't do 3, 2, 1.
No, you're right.
Well, 3, 2, 1, click.
Nice. Repeat my nice.
I was going to say, did you repeat your click?
No, rodeo.
No.
I like rodeo.
Rodeo.
We're sticking with rodeo.
Yep, cool. Paprika.
Oh, nice.
Warring.
Warring?
Yes.
Warring.
Yes.
Nice. So it's a spice
Yeah,
rodeo.
it's
which is just
I'm thinking it's a
it's
spice
just a
war.
fun name. It's a spice war through rodeo. Actually, I just love the imagery of like one of those, spice jars on a bull, like getting shaken around, and all the spices just coming out the top. Like,
like a sentient paprika holder.
yeah,
thing.
just riding a bull, but the shaker's open, and it's just every time the bull barks, like another cloud of paprika just comes out the top.
But you know what? It's seasoning that bull really quite
It's
nicely.
season-
So it could.
Yeah, I don't know where the game is in that, but I just love that.
Maybe you play as the bull, right? And I'm not sure what you're trying to achieve in this rodeo, but like if you fail, your season's really nicely for
Not
dinner.
season yourself.
Like if you look like that's the paprika is a threat to you. You know, it's like, okay, I'm seasoning myself by moving, and if I'm seasoned too well, then they're just going to kill me and cook me because they don't need to do any more
generally
work.
the bull's trying to get whoever's riding it off as fast as possible, right? So that is the goal here, because if you stay on too long, you'll just be seasoned even better. Because this
But
paprika
the thing
I'm
they
thinking the
didn't
opposite
tell
of
the
that.
bull is that they crazy glued it to the back of it.
Well, I'm thinking the opposite,
That's
because
the
if you
hard
do
debate.
manage to bucket too much, then you cover yourself in the seasoning. So you've got to try and go against the bull's
Well,
instincts
I
and
think
not
that's-
buck too hard.
Or
And you're
I think that's the
warring
challenge,
with
though.
its
You
own
got
instincts.
you have to buck at the right times based on your view of how well this paprika is balanced on you.
Oh, so it's a rhythm action game then. Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. To try to get it off as quickly as possible, but without it having seasoned you too much. So, yeah, like if you're not very good at it, if you're not sort of bucking rhythmically at the right times to get this paprika off balance, then yeah, it's gonna hang on, and you're gonna get even better seasoned. But if you don't buck at all, then you're just gonna be seasoned anyway.
Yeah, it's always dropping a little bit.
So this sentient paprika, does it have legs and arms, and therefore it can hold on?
I mean, I
Yes.
think
Or-
it has
I'm going with
to.
yes, because yes.
So I'm picturing like a salt shaker, but it's just full of paprika.
Yeah, basically.
Is
Well,
that
or
what
just
everyone
like
else is
those,
seeing?
those sort of thin, narrow, tall spice jars with the holes in the top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like a what is it? Master Foods or
or
something?
whatever, yeah.
So
Yeah.
so it's got its one hand holding onto the rein,
Yep.
the other hand's got the hat in the air,
Oh yeah,
and it's sort of waving
Yeah.
it round.
Oh, yeah.
It's bucking back and forth, because otherwise, if you just literally tried to balance a paprika shaker on top of a bull,
No,
it's
well,
like it'll just move once. And
that'd be pretty
it's off.
easy. No, I think it has legs and arms, and it's holding on like a real cowboy.
Well, it wants to eat a seasoned bull for dinner. Like, it's trying to hold on and season you.
Yeah, exactly. Or someone's going to eat it anyway.
Well, yeah.
So
Someone's-
obviously, to get it to get the paprika off, and you were saying about the rhythm controls, how you had to do it. Do you have to do like a Guitar Hero style note track, or
It might just be you've got a few buttons, like one kind of kicks your back legs up, one rears your front legs up, one maybe like bucks your head back, sort of thing, in a different sort of move.
It's like a rhythm action co-op.
I was about to say it's almost a bit like that, which we seem to be coming back to lately a lot.
Yeah,
but
I know,
I
right?
guess it's just an interesting control scheme to have that much control over different parts of a body. But yeah, so not quite as awkward as that, but like your front legs, your back legs, your head.
Maybe like Surgeon Simulator.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
You
floppy
you've
limbs.
got enough control that if you're good at it, you can do it well. But it's sort of not direct in that sense that you know exactly what the reaction's going to be.
Yeah.
okay? So the war is actually going on between paprika and the bulls.
Well,
They've
all the-
decided
all
to
the
have a
spices.
rodeo
All the
to
spices.
all the spices. You
Yeah.
reckon?
Yeah, well, I
Not
think
just
think
paprika?
that you have multiple rounds, and just one of those rounds is paprika, and then you might get salt out, or
This can again be online multiplayer. So you got one player playing as the spice, trying to hold on as long as possible, and the other one doing the bucking.
Right,
So
okay.
it's sort of like a competition game.
Yeah.
And...
I don't think I think this is on like 2 people on one console sort of thing.
Okay. Yep. So it's a couch co-op again.
Yeah.
Well, couch war.
Yeah.
But maybe it is kind of like a fast-paced rhythm action Simon Says thing. So the paprika shaker player is, hits a bunch of buttons with a set of timing. They kind of set what the ball needs to mimic to not spill.
Oh, or maybe they have to do like the opposite or something.
Ooh.
Like
Yeah, to buck them off. Yeah, no, that's a good point.
because you're trying to buck them off. So like if they're leaning forward, you want to like kick your back up or something. Yeah. So maybe. There's sort of that disassociation there. You see their inputs come up, and you have to quickly do. If they hit Y, then you have to hit A, sort of thing.
Yeah, so you got to do the exact opposite at the right time to throw them off more
at the right
quickly.
time. Yeah, they hit left bumper, you got to hit right bumper. Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
I was thinking it shouldn't be that the player playing the ball can just start mashing all the buttons on the keypad. Otherwise, it's like you can't.
Oh, no.
No, well, I think that's where that rhythm idea comes in. Like, yeah, you have to match them in some way.
Maybe the paprika one who's kind of setting the pattern has to do it to some kind of beat to keep the rhythm action thing going, and then so it's sort of like they set what the order is or what the buttons that have to be done, but the beat's already set by the game. And it's in time with the music because it's a rhythm action game. And so then the ball one has to hit the opposite buttons, but with the same beat. And they get maybe a bar later, so they've got a moment to see what's coming up.
So it's almost like you're doing a round. So like maybe the opposing player starts 1 bar later than the other one. So the first person's still entering inputs once the second person starts, but they're matching the ones from like 1 bar earlier in the sort of beat.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
That's cool.
That is cool.
So I looked up the ingredients for a beef rub. So we definitely have characters for salt, pepper, paprika, oregano, cumin, and garlic. So there you go.
Good.
We've got your character.
Awesome.
You've got your character selection for that side at least.
And your rodeo location is just an oversized frying pan or something, a giant barbecue,
or it's at least it's next to it.
Yeah.
You gotta make sure not to fall into it, or it's just
Okay. So the bull is actually just a piece of meat.
Okay, so it's not even a bull. It's just like literally a steak.
It's a steak.
But it also has like arms and legs, and it's sort of
it's got to be able to buck it off.
Has a little nub for a head.
It's like Meat Boy.
So I'm
but
thinking maybe even a T-bone steak or something like that.
Yeah.
So you've got that's the seat. The T-bone part.
Right. Oh fuck! I wish we had somebody who could draw because I want to see this like this visual of a fucking anthropomorphic spice jar, like riding a T-bone steak with legs and like with 4 legs and just getting
spice going
getting
everywhere.
bucked so much that all the spices are coming out and seasoning the fucking steak. That's fantastic.
And down on the sides, I'm just picturing now like the Dance Dance Revolution sort of arrows going
on each side.
Up each side, and that's basically what you're doing, but you got different inputs for depending on what you
or
want.
it could even just be the one, like because I feel like the challenge comes from you see that they've pressed left bumper, you have to have that sort of slight cognitive dissonance and press and know that means I have to press right bumper and not left.
Yeah.
It gives a bit more of a challenge for the person trying to match them.
I'm gonna hate myself for asking this, but is the soundtrack exclusively Spice Girls?
Oh,
yes,
no.
Definitely.
3, 2, 1, click. Kilogram.
Fern.
Peel.
Kilogram peel.
So
and Fern.
you're a woman named Fern,
And you got a kilogram of peel, and you're trying to create compost.
we're going to gardening again, are we?
I'd rather not. Where's Louse when you need him?
Okay. It's a new drug called peel.
Okay. All right. We're taking it into slightly abstract, but that's fine because that was a shitty combination of words.
Yep.
All right. So you play a woman named Fern, and are you selling peel? Is it sort of a narrative thing where you're just going into the seedy underbelly of the world of peel dealers or peelers? As they
I'm
like to
thinking
call themselves?
that I'm thinking that maybe what's happened is you actually wanted to get like a kilogram of orange peel for like the hot cross buns that you were actually making.
Okay.
You know how some awesome hot cross buns have peel added. Well, it turns out that you were delivered the drug, and now you've got to try and get rid of the drug before anyone finds out that you've got that.
You're accidentally drawn into the seedy underworld.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a Monkey Island point-and-click adventure, but in the world of the drug trade.
Okay. All right. We haven't done a point-and-click adventure in a while. I like that. I like this. This is good. This is ripe for sort of narrative.
Right, like
narrative.
those oranges.
Yeah, exactly. like those oranges would have been if you didn't get delivered this fucking kilogram of drugs.
Yeah.
And crazy characters and good puzzles and stuff. So yeah, maybe like the first little bit of the game, you have the whole intro where, like, yeah, literally in the first 5 minutes of the game, you're delivered a kilogram of drugs. Highly, highly illegal and potent drugs.
So what I'm thinking is peel, like, is almost like feather-like. So, a kilogram of peel is a fuckload.
Right, it's like a crate of it.
Yeah, so it's got to be more than like this tiny little bag, because that's not fun. Like, maybe it's a special like feather-light substance, so you only need like one feather's worth to actually get off or something like that.
And so you got some
it's called peel, and it's called peel because when you overdose on it, your skin peels off.
Yes, brutal.
Also,
so it's
orange.
street name.
Also, it's orange.
It's like an orange.
So one of the early choices for this point and click adventure game is that she can like cook the hot cross buns anyway, and
just cook it into the buns.
Yes,
that at least uses up a bit of it. You can't get the whole lot in there because otherwise you have to make like 500 hot cross buns.
But if you take that path, then like people really, really, really like your hot cross buns, right? And so you open a hot cross bun shop, and
but you just got to hope that no one gorges themselves on them, because otherwise their skin peels off.
Yeah.
And they start going mysterious.
It sounds
like,
a little bit
peel
suspicious.
overdoses occurring.
Yeah, within a radius around this hot cross buns shop that I was going to try to come up with a funny name at, except I'm not actually funny. So, is that actually a solution to a puzzle, like on the critical path to bake some of the peel into the hot cross buns? Like, you can't use it all up because, like you said, it's really light, so there's a lot of it. Maybe
how about it's just a branching like adventure game? Like you can do sort of anything you want.
Well, I mean,
that you can sort of think of. But on each day, certain things are sort of going to happen. So on day one, you get it delivered and you start brainstorming ideas. Day two, you can either try and go down into Chinatown and sell it to the triads, or you can like take it into your bakehouse. Day three, your police friend is coming over and you've got to hide it somewhere.
Right. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I like the idea of at least some branching narrative. I don't think you could do anything, obviously. I know this is a podcast for imaginary games, but we'll try to keep it somewhat realistic. But no, I like the idea of... But basically, each day there are opportunities that you may or may not find, and some of them are probably mutually exclusive, but that you manage to sort of get rid of some small amount of your kilogram. At the end of each day, you got like a little ticker that counts down. You got rid of 273 grams of today.
and if you do the wrong thing, you end up with more.
There are definitely ways. There are definitely ways to end up with more. It's just like this kind of wacky, through these ridiculous circumstances. Like, what? Now I've got 1.5 kilograms. Oh, fuck.
How did that happen?
Yeah, your police friend comes over, and if you do the conversation the wrong way, he's like, "Can you just take care of this that I stole from the evidence locker?" It turns out he's corrupt. Maybe that's if he finds it. He's like, "Oh, you're into peel as well? Yeah, look, I just took this from the evidence locker at work, so hold on to this for me."
Oh, and then you got 2.5 kilos, and you're like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, exactly.
But she's got like some sort of morality, so she doesn't just want to leave it out on the street. She actually goes, no, some kid may come by and...
Well, maybe you can actually... Maybe you've got the option to actually deal it, but you can choose who to deal it to, like sell it.
So you can choose to sell it to, like, the corrupt cops and like the corrupt bank officials and those sort of things.
Yeah. Maybe it's not a full on just like narrative point and click adventure. Maybe it's kind of one of these almost like a lemonade
Management
stand.
games.
Yeah, like a management game a bit. Where you've got different things, or like, did you have like Cart Life? I don't know if you ever saw that game.
No.
You could. That game was like, it had so much stuff in it. It was crazy. You'd get some sort of food cart, and they all had different little mini games for how you made the food, but you really had to struggle to get enough money and get enough ingredients, and you had to get like licenses and different things. So I'm thinking sort of something like that, where there are a ton of different options of things you can do every day, and they just affect different parts of your life. It doesn't all necessarily have to be around the business of selling drugs or hot cross buns, for that matter. But as part of just the reaching sort of thing of it is that you have these drugs that you have to somehow get rid of, and you can choose whether to do that. You know, maybe you can just put a little bit in your hot cross buns every day. Or you can,
or a little bit in the lemonade that you're selling at the lemonade stand, or a little bit that,
or just a little bit every second or third day to try and not addict people and not start off your horrible.
Or you can go the full on, or you can go on the full on dealer route and just sell it to whoever, and but at the end of it, you get your little screen of how moral you were, and how many people died because of the drugs that you gave them. It gives you meters of skin peeled off.
meters of skin peeled off. And at the end of the levels of Broforce, how you see all the characters sort of all the different ways that they die.
Yeah.
You see all the people and like
just branching
how much
out
skin is actually falling off
as they leave skin behind them. It's just trailing across this city.
and then you just have random factoids of like how much skin you got. Oh, the amount of skin that's peeled off can get you to the moon and back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You peeled off. You dealt enough drugs to peel off enough skin that could fill 3 football fields.
You didn't cut it with enough duck feathers.
Wait, are you putting duck feathers in your hot cross buns, Trevor? I don't think that's in the recipe.
Just for this peel. There's a feather-like substance. You need another feather. Duck feathers, chicken feathers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, why not?
No, I'm just thinking, how when people would sell. Well, this is not from actual like first-hand knowledge, but when in a lot of movies when they sell drugs, the first hit is like the really, really good shit, and then the all the next stuff is all the stuff cut with like baking soda or whatever it is.
And first hit's free.
And
so in this
people
case,
just wonder
peel
why
is being cut with feathers.
Yeah, people just wonder why you've got a ton of empty pillows in the back of your shop. One more click pitch.
3, 2, 1, click.
Seniority.
Limousine.
Stigmata.
Oh!
Okay, so I can see how seniority could come into play here with the whole like God, Jesus sort of dichotomy there. Or is there a trichotomy with the Holy Spirit? I don't know. How does that work?
Trifecta? Why not?
Yeah.
Well, I was initially thinking like, what was it, limousine, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was initially thinking that you're like working as a valet at valet parking, and you have your like superiors always kind of pulling rank on you based on the seniority. And then Stigmata appeared. I'm like, oh, jeez, what do we do with that?
Well, I'm thinking maybe the valet or the limousine driver. He finds out that he's actually the reincarnation of the Son of God. So,
but he really likes driving a limousine,
and finds that much more fun than religion in general.
so he's sort of going between, he's got to pick these people up. These people are abusing him, not realizing that he's actually the Son of God, but he's sort of shunning his duties as the Son of God, and the stigmata is getting worse every day.
And you've got to actively hide your stigmata.
All right. Oh, yeah. I like where you're going with this, Trevor. So, yeah, you're basically... Yeah, you this is this person who finds out they're the reincarnation of Jesus Christ, but they want to keep driving their limo. So every day it's just it's almost a Papers, Please-esque thing where you've got a view sort of out the back, like through the front window of your limo, and you get different customers in, and you have to make choices whether to act like Jesus Christ or not. Whether to do good in the world, whether to be able to forgive thy neighbor and help people out. And the more you do that, the less like the stigmata starts to fade. But perhaps there's some benefit, or maybe it's just literally a moral choice to being able to use your powers, use your Jesus powers,
to get more money to feed your family.
Well, yeah, okay. To be selfish about them, or just to be a complete asshole. To if you get people, in some people's minds, might deserve
divine retribution.
Yeah, to have the back of the limo filled up with bread and fish all of a sudden until they suffocate and die.
Plague of locusts, just in the back.
Okay. Yeah, you've got all the god powers.
All of a sudden, the wine that they were drinking turns to water.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go. But when you do that, your stigmata.
The crackers that they're
plays
eating
up.
literally turn into body of Christ.
Well, I was going to say your stigmata plays up and like just starts bleeding from the hands, and so you've got more money that you have to pay for cleanup fees of your limo. But that would also come in if you, literally turn like the bread into raw flesh of human.
But whenever you do it, like you look down and there's like a chunk taken out of your leg. It's like, oh shit, it really is body of Christ.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
But,
so
the more evil
it was just a real shame when they were having cocktail franks in the back.
Oh,
does it go back? Like, how does this work? Does what sort of healing factor does Jesus Christ have?
I don't think he does have any.
It just takes chunks out of him until he dies, and you have to take 3 days off work before you come back.
Well, maybe that's your kind of risk and reward, right? Because you need to hide your stigmata, otherwise people will kind of catch on and see what's going on there, right? And the more you use your powers to, whether it's to right wrongs or to wrong rights, either way, the more you use your powers, the more the stigmata happens until you need to take your 3-day break. And of course, 3-day break, that's lost income, that's lost seniority in your limo company, right?
Oh, there you go. You're trying to rise through the ranks.
Yeah, you're gunning for that promotion to get a better limo or become the manager, etc., etc. And so you've got to try and use your powers in a balanced manner to kind of make things go smoothly. And you can take other steps to kind of hide your stigmata if you're using things a little too much. But if you're using it a lot too much, then your arm just drops off and, Can't come into work tomorrow, I'm dead.
And when you get all the way to the top of the company, you can rename it to The Lion and the Limousines. That's the best part I could come up with. Jesus is the lamb, right? Isn't that how that works?
Yeah, Lamb of God.
Yeah, well, he was the lamb, and when he comes back, he's supposed to be the lion.
Is that how that works? Okay. You can tell I've read my Bible.
Last time he came, he was all nice and shit.
Oh, so the second coming
we killed
is
him
the lion? Is that how that works?
The second coming is the lion, because he's going to be complete bastard and kill everyone.
Well, if that's the case, then Jesus comes back and he's pissed. He's got an AK out of the side of his limo, and
and it just
but again, the stigmata is still there because that's the only sign. But it gets bigger with the right things that you're doing, and because you're supposed to be the lion this time. I think that's a good idea.
And then over time, you get powers with your blood and just drown people in it.
Definitely, yeah. You can just really turn that stigmata tap on and just drain yourself. But you still die. You lose those 3 days, but it might be worth it.
Well, yeah. If you manage to wreak enough havoc, If you wreak enough havoc or right enough wrongs, then it's totally worth it. And then people actually behave for 3 days while you're gone.
Like, oh shit, where is he? He's going to come back
So
again.
during those 3 days, does he go to, the United States and, meet the Mormons?
Right. But, he goes and plants those fucking gold plates or whatever. Oh, man, this is definitely our most blasphemous episode yet.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We're all going to hell. See you there.
All right. Well, I think...
As if we weren't already.
Well, if we weren't already, I'll see you in double hell.
Double hell.
Double special hell.
All right, I think we'll move on to our final segment.
Sure.
So, Andrew, what is your most anticipated game at the moment that you have yet to play?
That's kind of a rough one because all the big ones just came out, and I have played all the ones I was really keen on, even if it is only for an hour, right? I think the next one I'm really keen on is Persona 5, to be honest.
Persona 5, okay. Luckily, I know nothing about that game because what we're going to do is we're going to take the title of that game and come up with an alternate game idea.
It could be the ultimate.
It could be the ultimate game idea. We'll definitely outdo insert game company who made Persona 5 here.
Atlus, FYI.
Yeah, there you go. So we're going to take the name. We're going to come up with a new game called Persona 5. Nothing to do with actual Persona series. Just entirely based on that name. So
works for me.
My first thought is, and I really hope, I doubt it's going to happen, but I hope that this doesn't overlap with like the actual thing. I literally have no idea what it's about. But anyway, Persona 5. I'm not actually thinking it's the 5th in a series. I'm thinking that like it's a game about clones of some kind, and you are like the 5th off the line of a particular,
just a superhuman or some kind.
Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe that's it. Maybe it's someone who, a scientist has come up with a way of cloning and improving on humans, and you are their 5th attempt. They still haven't quite perfected it.
so you have powers that go wrong.
Yeah, in interesting ways. Yeah, it could almost be a narrative game, and we've headed down that direction this episode a bit more, but. Because there could be some real interesting tensions with like Persona 8 is actually like almost perfect. He really did get it right by then.
By that point, he's worked out the kinks in his system, and now it's starting to make more copies of Persona 8 to take over the world because, I mean, what scientist is making clones who isn't megalomaniacal, right?
Yeah. Maybe it's even set that little bit later where there are a bunch of Persona 8s out there, and you're this Persona 5 who's just... you're sort of substandard.
You're the discarded experiment. Maybe Personas 1 through 4 were steadily improving, and you're just the one they fucked up completely, and then just gone. Okay, we've hit an evolutionary dead end this way, so let's go the other way.
See, I like the idea of Persona 0 just being a blob.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But really didn't get.
It just came out as a
fully
mass
formed.
Of flesh,
however,
and like an eye and some fingernails.
However, it is literally the smartest out of all of it because it's just like a massive brain in there.
It's just brain mass in there.
Okay,
I like that.
So you link up with Persona 0 to get revenge. So you're the brawn, he's the brains. So you take on the name Louse, right? And you punch people.
Persona 0 takes on the name Fiddler.
Yeah, and for reasons unknown, you find Hogwarts. And now we're just in circles.
And now we punch things until the magic happens.
I'm thinking balls to the wall action game. Perhaps so. You are Experiment 5, so you are slowly. You can improve. Like, sure, you're a botched experiment, but unlike the others, you can improve. And that's kind of what they overlooked when they discarded you. And
okay.
And so
there's
it's
your
kind
leveling up and like...
Yeah, so you kind of end up with a balls-to-the-wall action game, say, literally anything Platinum Games has made. And then as you go, you get more powers, and Persona 0 kind of figures out how you can get revenge and take over the world for yourself.
Well, maybe it's a Banjo-Kazooie / ukulele style thing, and you've got Persona 0 in your backpack the whole time. Or like sitting in
and you got a psychic link to it, or so you can. It can't actually speak, but it's speaking psychically to you.
One of the things it did get was a mouth.
It's just a mouth and a brain.
It's just a blob with a mouth, some hair.
Well, well, then it also leaves a glaring weak point wherever you're carrying it around, right? Because without Persona 0, you're kind of nothing because it's the smart one, and you're just Louse. So you do need to protect this thing. So maybe you are wearing it on your back in a backpack, but you've also got to guard it with your life. Otherwise, you're lost.
Absolutely. Like that's your weak point. And if I want to can it fall off? I guess.
Yes, if you
maybe it is an aspect of.
Well, you can buck it off if you press buttons at the right time.
Jesus. Jesus, there you go. That's Luskus. Just tying them all together. No. Maybe it's just if you take enough damage or get hit by in quick enough succession, you can't, you don't block the combo well enough, then there's the possibility that Persona Zero will fall off, and that just adds to the challenge of this battle that you have to protect it and get it back onto your back.
Perhaps you get enemies that kind of just grab it and try to run off with it.
Yeah.
And then you've got to chase them down and take them down without hitting Persona Zero.
Kind of Assassin's Creed style.
Yeah, I almost like this as a bit of an open world action sort of thing.
So I was going to ask, where are we going to set this? Is it like Neo Tokyo sort of place, or is it
like Monday,
London, or is it Melbourne, or is it?
There are not enough open world games in Australia, so it's all of Australia.
That's true. Just you can go get a halal snack pack for your health, and check out Fed Square. That's where the enemy base is.
And then do we do it? What's it called? Forza Horizon 3 style. So, 1 second you can be in like the Yarra Valley, the next second you can be in the desert.
It's all one map, but it's just like
you've got uncontrollable teleport powers.
Look, it's the Harbour Bridge and the Opera House and Fed Square next to it.
Just compress it all down.
And look, there's Uluru, like within walking distance.
Yeah.
And look, a fuckload of churches. Oh, that must be Adelaide.
Hey, look, there's Pauline Hanson. We're up in Queensland. Run her over. Send Persona Zero after her.
She fell into a vat of oil at a fish and chip shop.
Oh, no.
Okay, so what sort of powers can Persona 5 have?
Well, okay. I mean, is it just sort of a beat 'em up style, action game with combos and weapons and stuff, or
punch people till the magic happens. So you start weaponless.
Yeah, so
it could just be maybe not like a side scroller, but maybe an old school beat 'em up where you are just punching people in.
Well, I'm thinking kind of God of War style brawler,
either God of War or Arkham Knight or Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah. That sort of more modern, one versus many kind of combat.
Dark Souls.
Yeah.
You are a failed experiment. So Dark Souls, make it ridiculously hard.
But you can like get into that that meleeing thing where someone's coming in, you can hit Y to counter straight away and just have that free flowing combat.
Yeah.
But with the incredible difficulty spikes of Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and I like you can, you've just got your different, sort of like Arkham has your gadgets and stuff. You can use Persona Zero in different ways. You can learn to, maybe you can throw it at someone and they just latch onto their face to stun them.
Facehugger style.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe you get some tentacles.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Maybe you can level up Persona Zero as well. Mutate it further.
Okay. I just had a thought. Well, in Dark Souls, you've got the stamina system that you can't keep on attacking.
Yeah.
So you got that free-flowing combat of like the Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
But you've also got a limited amount of stamina, so you can't do what you can do in like Shadow of Mordor, where literally people were looking away from the screen and just hitting the A button to vault over people.
Yeah.
Well, you've got limited stamina, so you've got to actually go in,
be a bit more strategic,
beat the crap. You can counter and all this sort of stuff. But then if you're running low on stamina, you've got to get the fuck out of there and like recover some of that stamina and come back in and
that could be where you
going.
Strategically use Persona Zero as well. Like maybe they've got some stun attacks or some attacks where you can launch them at the strongest enemy, hold them off for a while. Persona Zero will take some damage, but you get to regain some stamina, so you can then
get back in
flank them, come around behind them, take some damage off them and get Persona Zero back before they're too damaged.
Well, maybe not even necessarily throwing him at someone, but throwing him away from them as a distraction.
Oh, that too. If that's who they're, depending on, maybe it's the type of enemy, maybe if they're a smarter enemy, they know that that's the real prize.
That is a real threat.
There's a because at the start of the game, Persona 5 stole Persona Zero, the ultra intelligent Persona Zero, but who has some empathy for Persona 5. But everyone's trying to get Persona Zero back because like it was running the city or something.
So are you fighting against like Personas 1 through 4 at the start, and then you're actually going through 6 through 8 later on?
Maybe it's the opposite. Yeah. Maybe like once you've killed enough of 6 through 8, they start throwing the misshapen like 1 through 4 who also went pretty wrong, but they're like really tough and have different weird mutations and things.
Oh yeah,
they're just full on beefcake sort of.
Yeah, like this one's got extra arms, and you know this one's got fucking like skull plate, like plating all over its body. You know, it's not what they were going for. They were trying to create the perfect cloned, you know, ultra being or whatever of Persona 8, but it turns out that for when it comes to fighting against other personas, Persona 8 is actually the minion of the bunch, and the earlier ones do a lot better.
Well, yeah, because your beefcake can take a million hits before it actually starts to feel it, while Persona 8's like, yeah, no, I'm smart, I'm strong, I'm fast, but like, I'm balanced.
Yeah.
That really hurt. I'm going away. See ya.
Yeah, well, that's it. They're just like, come on, you created me so I could do all your accounting, not to fight people. It's like they're basically a service robot.
And once in a while you come up against Persona 9 and it's just a little kid.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's when they really perfected the cloning process, and you know, people who couldn't have children and stuff, you know, they want a new persona. But so yeah, as the series, like as the Persona series went on and on, not the game series, like the series of types of clones.
There's only one game.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
but the clone series of Personas went on and on. Yeah, they actually became more and more human-like, and so much easier to kill.
Yeah, I guess. So if they're going for perfect clones, then why we have a megalomaniac scientist? Like, we've kind of come around back to what's the point?
Well, no, I mean that was his end goal, but he just like wasn't very good at it.
So he just took over the world in the process, because why wouldn't you if you've gotten the ability?
Yeah, exactly. You know,
well,
uber rich now that he's
absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Well, there we go.
No, I actually just forgot the story that we came up with at the beginning because we went so deep into this action side of things.
Either way, I really want to play that game. If Persona 5 is anything like that, that'll be awesome.
No.
If it's not, then, well, make that.
Yeah,
scrap
it's
Persona
not.
5. Sorry, this is better. All right, well, that's pretty awesome.
I think that brings us to the end.
I think that does.
So, Andrew,
Hello.
Can you give our listeners some ideas on how they can contact you and check out the Inconsolables?
Right, so you can find the Inconsolables on Twitter at InconsolablesAU. You can find me at Calgar, that's Kalgar. We've got the Inconsolables podcast on Facebook, inconsolablespodcast@gmail.com, and yeah, throw it into Google and you may or may not find us. I mean, we're not at the top, so on Facebook you'll find it easy enough. SoundCloud, we're on Stitcher as well.
Nice.
So
Yeah, we'll put those links in the show notes too. So
cool. Thank you, sir.
Awesome.
So, thank you all for joining us today on Lamestorming. I'm Trevor Scott.
I'm Ben Slinger.
And I'm Andrew Natoli.
A game where you're raising a mech baby voiced by Stephen Fry.
I'd play that.
Yeah, sign me up.